I was doing it was a gig at this beach kind of resort. It was overlooking the Long Island Sound, and it was a nighttime event. And so we started out, we played and introduced everybody, and we did our thing. And when it was time for the first dance, the sun had gone down, and I kid you not, there was a moon that had to be the size, I mean, it was the biggest moon I'd ever seen. And it rose right out over the water, and the water was just like glass. And I mean, these people had this amazing first dance, and this moon rose. It was absolutely magic. It was a great experience, and it just made you very happy to be there. It was excellent. Well, I mean, basically, I studied performance and studied singing for my whole career, and once I graduated, moved to New York, as a professional singer and performer in New York, you have some very peripheral experiences. And so I worked a lot on events, and I have actually captained a lot of events from the hospitality side. And I've also maintained a lot of kind of cabaret and nightclub kind of work throughout the years. And it's really, I think those two elements come together very well to kind of lead an event as master of ceremonies, because you have an idea of timeline, you have an idea of what you need to get done in a certain period of time, but at the same time you have the feeling of the kind of gravity of the situation and what makes it so important, because it's these people, it's a very special event for these people, and so you can balance those two things. So the kind of cabaret work plus the event work, it's kind of that's how I feel. I think that getting to deal with individual clients is kind of the best part, because you really, while I come from more of a, classical but also a jazz and cabaret standpoint, I think that it's really, what makes the events very cool is when you get to work with a couple who has kind of a different idea as to what they want to do, and you can kind of expand your own realm as a performer and as a person through them. So I really like that. That's actually my favorite thing. You see these things kind of develop, and they can be unique ideas, and then once you integrate them into the gig as a whole, you can really create something special. So it becomes a very unique experience for the client. I worked an event it was at a bar restaurant up, and it was this beautiful little seaside community. It was very nice, and it was a great gig. I was very happy to have it, and I was working with another vocalist, female vocalist, who soon will be my wife. So I had a lot of skin in the game, and we did our whole set, and the clients were very happy, and everything happened. But we were having feedback problems, we were having technical problems with the sound system for the whole night, and so much to a point where we really couldn't move at all, because if we moved we would get this feedback, and I didn't know what was going on. So the event came to a close, and we were packing up all of our things, and I looked at our soundboard, and one of our cables had been unplugged, one of our speaker cables had been unplugged for the whole thing. So that was the whole feedback, and that was the whole thing. So this woman came up to me at the end of the event, and she was, mid to late 60s, and she'd clearly been overserved, and she kind of came up to me, and she put her arm around me, and she said, "You were all right, buddy, but I don't know about that lady that you're working with." And then just stumbled off, and I had no idea what to do with that information. So I just kind of kept wrapping the cables, and okay, well, thank you for your input. And it was a nightmare. The whole gig was a nightmare, but at the end, just that was the cherry on the top of the whole thing. It is. The only thing that I would say one should avoid is you should avoid streamlining your idea too soon. I think that there are a lot of kind of out of left field ideas that people come up with when they're trying to put together a function. And a lot of times, and I think the more unsuccessful times, people edit their ideas too early. And if people can come in with a lot of ideas and a lot of enthusiasm, then it's pretty much always going to work out. It's going to be a fantastic event. When people come in with, you know, they kind of pigeonhole the idea. I mean, if that's what they want, if they have a very stylized idea, then that's great. But I think that when you work from a really broad spectrum to start, then you have more to work with. So, like if I, as a performer, I have all of this that I could offer. But if I only come in and show you this much, then you're not going to know that there's all this other stuff. So I think the same works in reverse for clients to say, well, we want to do a country western thing, but we also really like swing music, and we also really like classical music. So can you do that? Like, yeah, I can. Yeah, sure. Why not? You know. And I think that. So I think to avoid pigeonholing your event too early that's the biggest. I think the biggest